70 years of pain, carried like an endless burden, until a stranger walked up and said just one sentence. That sentence changed everything. Today you're going to find out how just a few words can transform even the oldest wounds. Imagine dedicating your whole life to work, waiting for retirement as your reward, only to discover that instead of peace, all that's left is bitterness. This is Thomas's story, a man who should have been resting easy in his old age but was instead at war with himself and everyone around him. Clearly, Thomas didn't take care of his mental health. What he didn't know was that a simple encounter in the park would change everything. Stick around till the end, because beyond the revelation that transformed his life, I'll share 7 practices that might be exactly the answers you've been looking for. This is a new channel. Help us grow. Share this video, leave a like, and subscribe now to follow transformative stories like Thomas's. Thomas was always seen as a hardworking man. He worked hard for decades, believing old age would bring him the rest he deserved. But when retirement came, reality turned out differently: impatience, irritation, constant conflicts. Every little thing became a reason to argue. His children tried helping with advice, his wife sought out doctors, even medications were tested. Nothing worked. Each day, Thomas grew harder, more closed off, and the joy inside the house seemed to disappear right along with him. It was as if Thomas had built an invisible prison inside himself. The silence weighed heavy, looks of disapproval hurt, and even simple moments, a family lunch, a quiet walk, turned into tension. He suffered from his own stubbornness but didn't know how to change. Until one day, while walking through the park, life set up an unexpected meeting for him. A stranger, with steady eyes and a calm voice, stopped him mid-path. The stranger looked straight into Thomas's eyes and said something he'd never heard in his entire life. "Your problem isn't other people, or time, or the past. You never learned to love yourself. That's what's eating you up. Love yourself, and you'll see the miracle happen." Those words pierced through Thomas like an arrow. For the first time, he understood his fight wasn't against the world, it was against the absence of self-love. But what Thomas discovered didn't stay confined to his own life. This revelation has the power to transform your story too. And for this to make sense, let's dive deeper into Thomas's journey, starting with the pains that marked his days before the change. "I spent many years trapped inside myself. I got irritated by everything, the TV noise, children laughing, even my wife's silence. Any little detail became grounds for an argument. I thought the problem was everyone else, that nobody understood me, that my family didn't appreciate what I'd built. But in truth, it was me who no longer knew how to live in peace. Deep down, I suffered because of it. Every fight left me empty, every outburst made me feel smaller. At night, lying in bed, I'd ask myself, why am I like this? Why can't I be happy, even after working so hard to get here? I felt like a burden, not just to myself, but to everyone around me. It was that day in the park when everything started to change. That stranger, I never saw him again, said a phrase that echoed inside me: "You never learned to love yourself. That's what's consuming you." It was like someone had turned on a light in a dark room. For the first time, I realized my anger, resentment, and sadness were all fruits of not loving myself. Thomas begins to believe what he lived through wasn't just coincidence. It was a crisis of awareness, making space for an answer that had long been silently begged for in the hearts of many. After sleepless nights and feeling like a burden to his own family, those words from the stranger sounded like an echo of pleas he, and others, had been making without even realizing it. Someone needed to point to the root of the suffering. Remembering the fights, the guilt, and the emptiness that consumed him, Thomas realizes the question that repeated itself at night: why can't I be happy? Might not have been his alone. The stranger's presence in the park then seemed like a reply sent to those who'd already cried out for help in their thoughts. a warning that arrived at just the right moment to tear through the veil of denial. In that moment of clarity, the crisis of awareness becomes opportunity. Discomfort stops being just accusation and turns into an invitation to change. Thomas no longer sees the episode as an isolated miracle, but as a sign that healing exists, and often, the answer we've been waiting for arrives disguised in simple words, spoken by someone we'll never know. I decided to try. It wasn't easy. At first, it felt ridiculous saying kind things to myself in the mirror. But slowly, I began to understand. I needed to forgive myself for past mistakes, accept my limitations, respect my tired body, value every little detail of the life I still had. And the more I treated myself with respect, the lighter I felt. My wife smiled differently, my children came closer, even my grandchildren stopped being afraid to play beside me. And it wasn't just me. When I started changing, I noticed how many people were stuck in the same invisible prison. I remember my friend Ricardo. He was always generous, but constantly said yes to everyone, even when it destroyed him inside. He erased himself to please others. Once, he confessed to me, "Thomas, I feel like I have no value unless I'm serving someone." He didn't realize that wasn't kindness, it was a lack of self-love. When he started setting boundaries, I saw the transformation. Ricardo began to smile sincerely, not with that hidden exhaustion anymore. Another example is Manuel, a longtime friend I'd chat with at the bar. He sought respect in other people's eyes, always telling exaggerated stories just to feel important. But when he got home, he felt empty. It was as if he needed the whole world to applaud him just to believe he had worth. Until the day he opened up to me, "Thomas, when the door closes and I'm alone, there's no me left, just silence." He, too, had to discover that only self-love can fill that void. Then there's Helena's story, my longtime neighbor. After her husband passed away, she spent years believing she had no purpose left. She stopped getting dressed up, going out, taking care of herself. One day, through tears, she said, "I don't know who I am without him." It was hard to hear that. But over time, she learned her identity wasn't lost. When she chose to love herself, she started painting again, walking around the neighborhood, even laughing out loud once more. These stories helped me see I wasn't alone. So many of us go through life without ever learning how to truly love ourselves. And the absence of that love costs us dearly. It steals peace, robs joy, dims hope. Looking back now, I realize the greatest lesson I ever received didn't come from doctors or repeated advice. It came from a stranger in the park, who in just a few words showed me I was my own enemy. From the moment I learned to love myself, everything around me began to bloom, not because the world changed, but because I did. Mental health is one of the greatest treasures after age 60. It doesn't just provide emotional balance, it also gives you the energy to live with more joy. Self-love is key in this process. When you value yourself, respect your limits, and celebrate your achievements, your mind finds peace and strength to face life's challenges. Cultivating this care for yourself builds self-esteem, improves relationships, and deepens your sense of well-being. Next, here are 7 practices to develop self-love. Practice 1. Listen to soft music plus meditate. Set aside 10 to 20 minutes daily, sit comfortably, choose calming music, slow tempo, instrumental, and do a guided meditation or mindful breathing while listening. Phrase to meditate on: I deserve peace, my body and mind deserve this care. Scientifically supported by research from the University of California, Berkeley, and Harvard Medical School. Practice 2. Gratitude journal, small daily notes. Every night, write down 3 things you were grateful for that day. They can be simple: a warm coffee, a phone call, a smile. Phrase to meditate on: I'm grateful for who I am today, recognizing the good strengthens me. Practice 3. act of self-respect, saying no calmly. Pick one situation this week where you normally say yes out of obligation. Practice saying no with a short, gentle phrase that protects your energy. Phrase to meditate on: respecting my limits is an act of love toward myself. Practice 4. Care for your body as an act of affection. Do one simple, regular physical act, a 20-minute walk, a long bath, morning stretching, and treat it as a commitment to yourself. Phrase to meditate on: I care for my body because it carries me through life. Practice 5. Self-forgiveness, acknowledge and release. Take a moment to write yourself a short letter forgiving a past mistake, fold it and put it away, or speak the forgiveness out loud. Phrase to meditate on: I forgive myself, mistakes don't define me, they teach me. Practice 6. Acknowledge achievements, record your wins. At the end of each week, write down one thing you accomplished, no matter how small, and celebrate it for 30 seconds, a smile, saying "good job" out loud. Phrase to meditate on: my small victories show my worth. Practice 7. Time alone, limit distractions and listen to yourself. Set aside 15 to 30 minutes during the week with no phone or tasks. Sit quietly, walk without a destination, or just breathe. Observe your thoughts without judging them. Phrase to meditate on: when I spend time with myself, I discover I deserve attention and care. And here's the key that unlocks every door, no matter your age, no matter your past. The peace you've been searching for outside yourself can only be born when you choose to love yourself from within. If this story touched your heart, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll share simple daily practices to help you nurture self-love. This is a new channel. Help us grow. Share this video, leave a like, and subscribe now to follow transformative stories like Thomas's.